go. I'm starting out with a weird thing. Hi, everybody. This is my current reads from Storygraph. I thought I'd just pop it up there and show you guys that I'm reading several things at once, and they're all very interesting. So, I don't know. Ask me about those later if you caught them, or rewind and replay, right? So, I think I may have been confused what day it was today. It's Wednesday. That's fine. I was going to do a Wednesday wrap, but I've only read 2 books. So I thought I'd hold it for another week and get another couple books done from that current reads list. And so we're doing book tags today instead. So it's a double book tag day. If you are newer here, I haven't done book tags in a while, and I keep track of them in my planner. So I've got like running tally of tags and whether I've done them and passed them on. And the ones I'll be doing today are the Rome tag, which was created by Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. And I was tagged by Brian of Bookish. And the Ukrainian Book Tag, which is by Irene Reads. And I was tagged by Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. So they're both related to Jim. So I hope he has a chance to stop in while we're live. That'd be pretty cool. If you've got questions as we go along for myself, feel free to pop them in the chat. I love to interact with people when we're live. So yeah, let's dive in. Oh, and in case you are new, I'm a historical fiction and fantasy author, and I've got 6 books out. Several of them are pretty fall feeling. So if you're feeling like you want book recommendations, you can find any of these books on my shop. That leads to a place where you can choose which retailer you buy from. So you get all the choices. And specifically fall, I'd probably say Dulce's Legacy and Fabled Passages give me the most fall feels, because one's about going back to school and then the supernatural, and the other is about supernatural time travel and a little bit of like creepiness. So there you go. Okay, now let's jump into some tag goodness here. Let's do Rome first. I've got my Rome tag notes here, my preparations, and if you want to follow along, in the description are the prompts. So I have, for the first question, favorite book set in Rome or Italy? So I do like Italy. Italy has a lot of things that is bequeathed to the world. I've been there once. I went to, I think that's right. I'm not going to spoil the answer for later because that's another question. But I haven't traveled there, twice. I haven't traveled there extensively as I have in other areas. So my scope is very limited here for this Rome tag. My favorite book, and I was a bit lazy because I had to rush back from the gym, so I didn't do overlays properly. I just loaded the image. There you go. My favorite book that is partially set in Rome is Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Huge international bestseller. I really loved it when I read it, and I loved it as a movie with Julia Roberts. There's a lot to love about this. It's like a mid-life journey of discovery and confronting hard truths about yourself. Don't let anyone talk you out of reading it because it's corny or cheesy or whatever, because I thought it was really well written and really transparent and honest and authentic. So there. Prompt number 2, favorite book in translation. So I did just come out of an August Women in Translation month, and I did have a whole video about my favorite books in translation. So I will put that in the description. We're not messing with cards. I'm going to put it in the description later. But TLDR is that my 2 favorite books in translation, one from this year and one from before, are, let's see, The Great Passage. That's the one from before. It's by Shion Miura and translated from the Japanese by, it's too blurry. John somebody. Anyway, we're not highlighting the translation here. It's a great book because it's about a small cadre of people who are earnestly trying to do their jobs at a company that is making a new dictionary. And it's about the love of words and the difficulties in life that people come across, and as they age and their circles change. I just thought it was a really well done sort of Japanese style of calmly considering something, and I really liked it. So the Great Passage. Then the other one I have to recommend might come up later again as well, and that is when I read this August, The Door-to-Door Bookstore by Karsten Henn, and this is from the German. So this is about someone who delivers books, who is an elderly man. He delivers books, and he's got his very routinized life set in this small German town, and it is set what's the word? It is disturbed. We're incited into action by the fact that this little girl who always watches him cross the square starts to tag along, and her presence on his daily delivery of books pushes a lot of things into motion. And there's a really good villain to hate in this one, and I just really liked how the personalities of the older man and this young girl and all the people that they visit as regulars were introduced and grew throughout the novel. It was beautiful. So that's prompt number 2. Number 3, do you have any favorite writers of the Roman Empire? And I'm afraid I don't. I know there are several notable writers who write historical fiction in the Roman Empire, and I haven't gone after it. I've tried one or two, didn't jive. And as far as actual Roman writers like Tacitus or, I don't know, famous names like that, I never learned Latin, and didn't really learn the history of the Roman Empire that well, except for horrible histories. So just wasn't my jam. I don't really have an answer for 3. Number 4, books in other languages. So I did pull out a few here from my French shelf. So like Jim, I also speak French. And my favorite book in another language that I've read would probably be A University Experience, Le Cid by Pierre Corneille. He's one of the golden century's most famous playwrights, and France is very proud of his work, his oeuvre. So this is BYU bookstore. Interesting. It must have come from the university system into the Santa Clara system. Oh man, yeah. I didn't take notes in here, so I must have taken notes in the notebook instead. But like small, tiny volume. I mean, look at that. And really heavy for its size, because the paper is it's got clay in it, so it's like that really smooth, like magazine paper. Quality publishing. So Petit Classique, Larousse Texte Intégral. So that was a good version to read. What else have I got? This is one of the ones I got after when I was trying to keep up my French. It's a translation of Agatha Christie. Un meurtre sera commis le... A murder will be committed on. And, it wasn't really my jam. I think in English or French, not really my thing, so that didn't really help. And then I also would do like little children's books, Les Récrés du Petit Nicolas. So there's like cute little things with illustrations, kind of like a Roald Dahl book. And funnily enough, there's lots of like slang that they would use in kids' books that I didn't know. So I'd have to like guess and go after context clues, which made it kind of fun. But yeah, so yeah, it's funny. They have a thing on the back that's like upside down. Yep, and then the one I haven't done, which I've been like waiting for. I mean, I guess I've dipped in and out, but Jane Eyre translated into French, because I know the text so well. I would probably be able to guess what the words I don't know mean. But it's a big one in French, and maybe Victober. Not this year. I've got plans for Victober already, but maybe. I must have gotten this when I was in France. But it says dollars? Oh, no. I must not have because it says dollars. Okay. Well, anyway, so that's goals for the future. But yeah, French is my language in translation, not Italian. Sorry, Rome. Although Italian does sound beautiful and I would love to learn it. Prompt number 5. Favorite movie set in Rome? And, I already went over Eat, Pray, Love as a movie, which is great. And here I'm going to have to cheat because I don't know movies set in Rome, and I don't want to give an answer that I've already given. So I'm going to skip over to Florence, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump, and say A Room with a View by Ian Forster, turned into a Merchant Ivory film. That's a beautiful movie. And if you haven't seen A Room with a View with Helena Bonham Carter, you should definitely treat yourself. I forgot to say hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Anita. Thanks for coming. We've got Jordan Mahoney. Yes, he says, I sent messages and comments earlier on your post. Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw you giving some details about the resources available to the seeing impaired in Ireland, and that was all very interesting. I saw it on my phone, however, so I just rushed through a shower, rushed through lunch. I think I had half a sausage and a slice of bread, so I haven't had a chance to catch up, but I really appreciate those comments. He is mentioning the post. The one he is talking about is a poll I have on my community tab for the October Patreon book club read. I'm looking for a gothic book, and I've got 4 to choose from. One of my readers has already said they've read one that is like a favorite, so we'll have to maybe make some hard choices. Yeah, so Jordan says, did you say Horrible Histories? Yes. I didn't watch them, but we had sort of graphic novels that were Horrible Histories series, and yeah, that's how I learned about medieval peasants and Roman peasants and warfare and anything that I might know about those earlier periods that are not my 19th century favorite era in history to study. So yeah, Self-Pub with Andy saying hello. I threw a few books at that like button. Excellent. Oh, see, I was thinking about Roman Holiday. I have seen that, but I don't remember feeling especially moved by it. Like, I love Gregory Peck, I love Audrey Hepburn, but I think the plot, something about like her being incognito and then leaving at the end and not ending up together was not my preference. So I think that's why I thought about it. I was like, it's such a great piece of cinema, but I don't like the story. But maybe it should work anyway, for the best movie set there. Hi, Dustiva. Hello. I'm excited to hear about your September goals and how you're doing on Instagram with the indie library. I'm forgetting the name for it now. Bookend Lane Indie Index. There we go. Always go with the alliteration. And Felicia is here to say hi too. Hello. All right, I'm halfway through my first tag and we've got 2 to get through, so let me jump back in. So Room with a View, Helena Bonham Carter fan here. So let's just get that out of the way. Jim's next question, number 6, is your favorite Italian car. I don't deal in model cars like he does, but I have to say the new Fiats that look like squished up cartoon cars are pretty cute. So I'd say a new, like 2010s, whatever Fiat. They look very energy efficient. Number 7, favorite Shakespeare play set in Italy. And there are a lot. I did look up in case there were some that I missed. I've read a few of them, so I did have some to choose from here. And I'm going to go with one that I did not play in, but I have watched and studied numerous times. And so I have interacted more with the language, and that is Much Ado About Nothing. And again, adaptations. So many good adaptations. The ones that stand out in my mind are the movie with Emma Thompson and the famous director guy. What's his name? The red hair. Yeah, he did Hamlet too. Someone will supply it for me. So that's a great adaptation. That's like 1996, 94-ish when I was studying it in high school. And the other more recent one, I think, came out of the beginning of the pandemic, or maybe it was older, that was just made available online at the beginning of the pandemic. And that was with David Tennant and Catherine Tate as Benedict and Beatrice. And oh my God, the comedy gold, and I tell you. So definitely search that out if you have an hour and a half to play with. Much Ado About Nothing, David Tennant, Catherine Tate. You won't be steered wrong. Ah, yeah, see? I need a new. Kenneth Branagh. I was close. No, not Carrot Top. Nice try, though. Nice try. Oh, Anita says the ending was what I liked. Something different. Yeah, fair play. Fair play. All right, so Much Ado About Nothing. Very good. Number 8, favorite Italian writer. I don't really have one for this. I don't read too much in translation, and apparently when I do, what I like is Japanese books in translation. Or maybe that's just what finds its way to my door. So I haven't read My Brilliant Friend. I had a copy of that for a while and just never felt compelled to jump in. That would be the obvious contender for me. But if you have Italian writers that are translated that you would recommend, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I don't know why I wouldn't like an Italian translated novel. So there you go. Number 9, favorite Italian dish. This took some thought. So again, I just do this in advance because I don't want to just have no answers. There's plenty of lists online about famous Italian dishes, and I went through and I was like, oh, that's good. I love that. But I do have an answer, because there's one that when I hear the word and I taste it in my mouth, I'm just like suffused with the sunshiny glow. And I will give you 10 extra credit imaginary points if you can guess. Oh, sorry, I just scared the cat. If you can guess what that dish is. An Italian dish whose name and whose taste makes me feel suffused with a sunshiny glow. And I'll give you a few seconds. The last question is, have you been to Rome? And the answer is yes. So I have been to Rome and Florence with my mother and sister once, and that was like a package trip for a week. It was delightful. It was especially delightful because it was like right after the 2004 election that we lost, that we were running a campaign for. So it was like we needed space and to not be anywhere where we knew people. So that was great. And then I went back in 2016 on my own, and I visited Naples, Napoli, and Sicily for my birthday. And this is the trip where I decided I'm not going to plan everything. I'm just going to like do here and there. I know I'm going to visit my friend Jill in Napoli. I know I'm going to visit Sicily, and I'll get the train tickets when I get them, and I'll figure out the hostel when I get there. Yeah. No. I tried it. No. Okay. Any guesses on the Italian dish? Ooh, Eva's close. he was in the right direction. Okay, let's see. Let me catch up here. Favorite Shakespeare for Anita is Two Gentlemen of Verona, which I haven't read. Nice. I'm pretty sure it's another like mix-up twins comedy. How can you go wrong with that on Shakespeare, right? I wish Eva thought Felicia was right with Carrot Top. No. Let's see. Eva says, our small city has an Italian fest this weekend. Oh, nice. Bronco reading. Hey, you missed the French portion. I did pull out several books from the French shelf to talk about, but since this is the Rome tag I'm doing, it was just a tiny little sliver. One question I got to pour it into my language. Language love. Felicia says chicken Alfredo. Alfredo, no. Cream sauce is usually no. But Eva, yes. More in the bread direction. Let's go. Melanzani, like eggplant. That's also a good guess, but no. I just really love bread. I'm with you there, Eva. Ooh, tiramisu. I don't think of that when I think of like a dish, but you're right. As a dessert, that is pretty freaking awesome. Bloody Mary. No, I don't think is that Italian? I don't know. Ice cream, like gelato. Okay, let me put you out of the suspense. It's panzanella. Panzanella. So that is when you take stale, old, dry bread, you have it in little croutons, and you put it at the bottom of a bowl, and then you put all the stuff on top of it to make a salad. So it's a summer dish to use up stale bread. So kind of like ribollita is a peasant dish to use up stale bread in a warm, hearty soup. Panzanella is a salad in the summer to use up dry, old bread with summer produce like lettuce and tomatoes and, of course, your olive oil and etc. Cucumbers, stuff like that, red onions. So it's just like, oh, it's a party in your mouth. I love it. And I love using up bread as it's going bad, you know? I just watched a chef guy on TikTok who I follow who said, this is how you appreciate good bread. It's like those stages, kind of like cell division that you learn. He said, when you come home and your bread is still warm from the bakery, like the only way to appreciate that is tear off a hunk and just like put it in your face. And I was like, yes, I am fully 100% on board with that. I went out for bread yesterday from Dos Hermanos Bakery in Portland. And usually they have 6 ciabatta rolls wrapped up in a plastic, and I put them in my freezer and take them out as I need them because living alone, you can't go through that much bread, but they don't give you singles. And this time she's like, no, we can put however many you want in a bag. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll take 4. They were still warm. Oh my God. So I had to eat one right there. I went on a walk and I like tore it and ate it like, oh, so good. Anyway, once it gets past that, then you have sandwich sliced bread. Then you have like the toasty bits that you have to like make a little more rigid. And then you have to soak it or use it in croutons or bread pudding or something like that. So I love this like life cycle of bread. So every stage gets its like shining moment. Bread and soup, baked pot pie. I like baked pot pie, Italian bread. Margaret reading. I'm trying to learn Italian, so this is good. I wonder if the weather is still warm where you are, Eva. They might have it. So yeah, panzanella, Panzanella. Maybe you'll find it. Yes. Ooh, yes. Yeah, bread and salad is yummy. I need to stand it before. Yeah, it's good stuff. Phase 1. See, okay, here's the big divide in breads. Do you like the crumb or the crust better? Okay, I've gone very far afield with this Rome tag, but I like where we're going with this, so feel free to just keep going with the bread. I can talk about bread all day. Isn't that kind of how they came up with sourdough? I don't think so, because sourdough is fundamentally different. You have to have like a mother or like a fermenting agent to produce the air bubbles, the carbon bubbles in the rising or in the baking process. So it's different, but I couldn't tell you how. That's as much as I can say. The soundbite. Yeah, bread and bread adjacent foods. Yeah, like tomatoes. My old bread grows things. Yeah, like that's why you need to toast it or put it in the fridge or make it into something else. Yeah. Yep. Crumb and crust, both. Yep. Felicia says, I don't like the crust. Ooh, see, we got people on both sides. Eva says, I love crust with fresh bread, but I wouldn't want only crust. It's the combination. There you go. I'm going to star that comment. Extra credit points. I love it. It's the combination. I'm going to order a bread machine. You've convinced me. I bet you could find one on the cheap at your like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or whatever, because these go in and out of fashion and like in and out of garages, let me tell you. So good luck. All right, that is it. So I'm tagging Kat's Novel Adventures because she just came back from her first trip to Italy with her family. There's really fun pictures on Instagram. So if you follow Kat's Novel Adventures here on YouTube or on Instagram, you got some great photos of her son and them having fun in Italy, which is great. I'm also tagging Hannah Blackwell because she looks like she'd have some great answers for these. fellow author tuber, and Rachel's reading Nook, who I believe lives in Europe and has like a lot of cool travel adventures that she highlights. So I'd like to hear her answers. So there we go. Okay, first tag down. The next one is the Ukrainian Book Tag. And let's see if I've got my overlays ready for this one. Sort of. Okay, Ukrainian Book Tag. So let me just reference here. I was tagged on May 19th. It is now September 13th. So Ukraine is still in jeopardy. They're still fighting for their existence. And it's great to have a reminder that it's still important to support folks in Ukraine. Yeah, how do we do that with a book tag? Well, it's keeping awareness up. And like we said during that poverty book discussion, look into what is behind your consumer habits. That's all I'll say. Okay, so the first prompt for the Ukrainian book tag is, let me look at the description here, is the flag. And if you know, on my little thumbnail, I put a little Ukrainian flag. The Ukrainian flag is yellow and blue. Find a book with a yellow and blue cover or a book with your favorite color combination. Now that could have sent me down quite the rabbit hole because color combinations are endless, right? And so I was like red and purple, black and green. I was looking at my shelf and just like staring off into nothing. So we're going to stop that and we're just going to go with this one from earlier, the door-to-door bookstore, because it's very blue and yellow. It's like the Ukrainian flag. So I thought that would be really supportive. Like I said, I read this for not Women in Translation Month. I read this as a translated book, right? Kirsten Henn is not a woman, but I don't know. It was just in a group of books about bookstores. There's this, and then there was the Morisake bookshop, which is from the Japanese. And there was one other one that I didn't actually finish. So, but yeah, blue and yellow. This one is also pretty blue and yellow. I haven't read it yet, but it's my friend Julie Gerstenblatt, Daughters of Nantucket. So it's kind of like a royal purple, navy blue, and yellow that sort of fades into orange. It's a really pretty cover. It's historical fiction about Nantucket and whaling and yeah, cool stuff. I just haven't gotten into it yet. On my list. So blue and yellow. Prompt number 2. A book about the immigrant experience or traveling. Oh, and I forgot to get an overlay of this one. Okay, so obviously I'm going to pimp my series because this is definitely about the immigrant experience. My trilogy, Remnants, is about a Scottish family that gets kicked off of their island croft, their little farm, and has to navigate the 1820s dislocation, which is part of the waves of clearances as part of industrialization and all that in the UK. And they go to the city, they try to cope with an urban environment, they move to the country, they try to cope with the new country environment, and lots of things that they weren't used to. So immigrating, finding friends, learning customs, sort of finding your new place, a niche in a new society is a big thing. And so I was inspired to write that. So I would be remiss if I didn't plug the books. They're in the middle here. So Keening is the first one, Grasping Root is the second, and Stormwreck and Spindrift is the third. But also, when I think about the immigrant experience, a more recent one, instead of the 1820s, the 2000s, I think, is when it was written about, is What is the What by Dave Eggers, which is basically about a Somali immigrant's experience and relationships and basically his life in jeopardy, trying to adjust and trying to avail himself of resources. And you see his grappling with it, and it's very affecting. I really like that book. So What is the What is one I recommend. I think it's on my, if it's not in my books to take into the apocalypse, it's on my 5-star recommendations on Bookshop. So either way. Let's see. Anita hungry. My favorite bread is flatbread. She's gonna make me hungry now. And Felicia says, your streams are so fun. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Do you love good flatbread? Yep. I want a bagel. I did get bagels yesterday too. I almost got a shirt from the bagel shop because I love them. I'll buy a bagel machine. Is that a thing? I don't know how I made the jump to bagel. I just did. This is your trilogy. Yes, this is the trilogy. Hey, Shannon. S.T. Houston made friends with the like button. We're like halfway. We're not even halfway through the second tag today, Shannon. So in case you're catching up here, I don't know if it's a thing. Yeah, I don't know either. A bagel machine. I think you make dough and then you form it in rings and then you either boil them or bake them. I think you boil bagels. I don't know. Not an expert. I just eat it. I'm just an expert at eating it. Okay, so that was number 2. Immigrating experience. Love the prompt. Number 3, masterfully crafted plot. Okay, here's my next tranche of books. All right, so what do you think? You'd have to have been around for a long time to remember my oohing and ahhing about this book, but it's a huge chunker. I don't know, it's like 2.5 would make my face width. What else can I tell you about it? Eleanor Catton, winner of the 2013 Man Booker Prize. Well, I won't make you guess because that's going to be hard. The Luminaries. Masterfully crafted plot. It sort of uses this structure of astrology and stars to circle around its plot discoveries, but very subtly. And there are lots of characters. There's a lot of description. There is a lot packed into this, history-wise, setting-wise. And you may feel a little lost. I definitely felt like it was over my head what things were being connected, and it wasn't unpleasant. So that's what gives me the feeling that The Luminaries was a masterfully crafted plot. So if you've got, 3 months to read a book, try this one. I read it as a buddy read, and if you search on my channel, I'm sure you could find when we discussed it like 3 years ago. That's quite a while, but it was a good motivation to read The Big Chunker. Let's see. Prompt number 4. Beautiful nature writing. Ooh. Let's see. I have a list for this. So not only do I have a couple to show you, but my bookshop thing has actual list that's called 5-Star Nature Memoirs. So I'm just going to put that in the chat in case anyone's interested and this is what they're looking for, or they think it might be a good gift. There's my little affiliate link. My 2 favorite would probably be these guys, which you've probably heard me talk about. Gathering Moss by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Beautiful nature writing, a natural and cultural history of mosses. So it's a thinner volume than Braiding Sweetgrass. It's an academic press, actually. And I would say the beauty in the nature writing is that she has such a thorough understanding of ology, whatever the study of mosses is called. It's something like that. But she doesn't drown you in scientific details. She gives you little bit by little bit, and then you have enough to understand the metaphors that she weaves between the things that she is researching in nature and the lessons that she's imparting about her relationship with the environment, her relationship with her family, her view of the world. And I love it. Beautiful nature writing. Also, And this is one I will always think of Beth Ann now. Orchard, A Year in England's Eden by Ben MacDonald and Nicholas Gates. Because the passage that's about the wasp that that made Beth Ann like indignant. But yeah, really fascinating observations about a very small plot of land, an old orchard that had stayed the same rather than be redeveloped or changed, like altered. And these guys just observed, both in writing and in some photos, the seasonal things that happen, who visits, and what they leave for the next seasonal visitors, and just how everything sort of relates. The bats and the insects and the critters and the birds, and like really, really cool. Like, I feel like this is what you would know if you lived in the same 10 miles your whole life, like people used to. I wish we had more knowledge of our local environments enough to understand like everything that goes on around us, rather than just, I go to work, I come back. I go to work, I come back, you know? So beautiful nature writing with animals there as well. And I did pop that into chat. Yeah, 5-star nature memoirs. So if you're feeling in the mood, or if you know this would be a good Christmas gift for somebody, nature memoirs. Like, winter is a great season to read about like spring and awakening, and it's just a good start to the year, you know? So Shannon says, I'd almost look like sprayed edges. Then I realized I was looking at tabs. Yeah. My annotations, my like trying to catch up. I don't think I have any books that have sprayed edges. I was talking with a cover designer recently, and I mentioned sprayed edges and that I didn't have any. But what I do have are books with really cool end papers. Anyway, we're getting off on a tangent again. I am in love with end papers. I just wanted to say hi to Emma, like button booped. Thank you. You're so sweet. Yay. So welcome. We're almost done with our second tag of the day, nature writing. Now, prompt number 5, your favorite food and a book that features it, or a favorite cookbook. Oh, and I forgot to get this one out. So I guess I'll do 2, because I always like to do more than one. I really like Alana Tremila's The Homemade Pantry. 101 foods you can stop buying and start making. It's because she has like a little manifesto. Like, why would you make these things? Food made at home is better for you. Food made at home tastes better. Food made at home usually costs less. Food made at home eliminates unnecessary packaging. Food made at home will change the way you think about food. And I thought those are all pretty good guidelines. At the moment, as you probably have heard me say, all I can do is granola and yogurt. And so I make granola and yogurt pretty regularly. I can't make my own bread. I've tried. I can, but it's not great. And I really, really love good bread. So I splurge for that. Emma knows. And yeah, greens. I don't have a garden. I have a patio. I do herbs from time to time. I do not grasses, microgreens from time to time, but you know, living in the city, I do what I can. But basically, I have used this for just a handful of recipes, especially the granola. But yeah, love it. She's made homemade Pop-Tarts, which I have not tried. That seems pretty ambitious. And then the other one I really like, again, a handful of recipes. I've tried a bunch, but you know, you go back to your favorites. So River Cottage Every Day by Hugh Fernley Whittingstall, double-barreled name, always harder. I think he's pretty well known in England for being like nose to tail, use every part of an animal, don't waste, think of creative ways to do things, organic, local kind of food movement. And so that's why I thought I'd pick up his book. And then there's a few in here that I've tried and loved and come back to again and again. And yeah, just like whole foods and that ethos is what I like about it. So like to support him and that vision. So that's the cookbook. Okay, 2 more. Prompt number 6, unlikely hero. Oh, and I have a good one for this one. So this is a more recent read, and it was an audiobook. Oh, I'm gonna go over here. There we go. This is one of the overlays I still had. Mrs. Plansky's Revenge. It's by Spencer Quinn, and it was read by Petrea Burchard. And oh my goodness, it's the cutest. So unlikely hero is like a woman in her 70s who is retired and a widow in Florida, wears sensible sneakers, has good taste as far as Florida is concerned in clothing, plays tennis, keeps fit, fairly well off because she and her husband were inventors and like sold like a kitchen appliance patents or whatever. But she is the victim of a scam, phone scam that preys on the elderly. And wouldn't you know, this is perfect for this tag. So this scam is actually the burgeoning criminal enterprise of someone, I think, in the Ukrainian area. Yeah. But it doesn't work out like you think it does. And that's what makes her an unlikely hero. And I listened to it with Petrea Burchard, and she was perfection listening to her read this in terms of like the voice of the woman, but also the voice of the people she comes into contact with. I just thought she did such a great job. Spencer Quinn writes, has written a bunch of very successful books from like the dog point of view, which I wouldn't normally go for, I think. I think mysteries, it's a little too cozy for me, but this was perfect. So I would definitely recommend this to people. It's contemporary. It's very humorous. It's pacey. I mean, you do have a lot of setup to sort of get to the like revenge part. But then the characters are so interesting and like you feel for them. I just really, really like this one. So that is my unlikely hero book. And the final prompt is a book from childhood or a book that you cherish as a talisman. So, okay, let me preface this one by saying, have you ever had a memory that you couldn't remember if it was a dream or real? Yes. I keep remembering this book that I read when I was a kid and loved it. I think it's still on my bookshelf at my parents' house. And I keep remembering the title wrong because of how I remember the book. Anyway, the book is actually called The Dream of the Stone. It's got very Wrinkle in Time vibes, but it's modern rather than like in the 60s when Madeleine L'Engle was writing Wrinkle in Time. And it's written by Christina Ascunes. I do have a picture for this in case anyone wants to see. This is the version that I had as a kid. It's a different version published now. But, you know, there's an alternate world, and this girl and her brother find it somehow, and they are orphaned, and it's part of like a bigger plot. And yeah, so really actually like Wrinkle in Time. But yeah, the not moral, but like the message of the story, I guess, is like dreams are important, and that's how you find what's important to you is in your dreams. I just really liked it. And I feel like this sort of stone metaphor is something that I've had in the back of my mind as a talisman for the rest of my life, which is kind of interesting and pretty personal. But yes, great middle grade young adult book, Dream of the Stone. And that sort of flavor, I may be wrong, but I hope I'm not. I'm going to tag 3 people for this Ukrainian book tag. I'm going to tag Novel Idea because I think Dia would appreciate some of the books that I've mentioned here and have great recommendations of her own. I'm going to tag Hannah of Savage Reads, and I'm going to tag Monique Joyner Seedlock. I don't think she does many tags, but she's in Poland part of the year, which is like the next door neighbor of Ukraine. So I thought she might have an interesting take on this or be able to give us some commentary. So, yeah, just tagging some friends and hoping you guys have fun with this. That is my double tag for today. Like I said, I only read 2 books, so I'm going to save up a wrap up for next week when I could have some more. But I look forward to that. This Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific is going to be the first Fireside Chats since August's intensive, and it's going to be Laura Elena Donnelly. So in a couple days, I hope you come back to see her. We're going to be doing some flash fiction, and I will be gushing about her Amber Lou book trilogy. I've only read 1, but I need to get the next ones because it was fantastic. So she is like alternate history / historical fantasy. There's magic, but there's also like a very strong flavor of like Berlin in the 1930s to the world that she's built. So yeah, the historical vibes are strong with this one. And she's written other books as well. So that's the one I'm going to hone in on, but feel free to find your own Laura Elena Donnelly. And so very excited. And let's see, Saturday, what else is coming up? If you guys got stuff coming up you want to pop in the chat, feel free. Yeah, I haven't done tags in a while, so this banner list is a little rusty. Yeah. I'm still putting out shorts. I'm still not writing anything. Just like got other stuff I have to do. So hopefully I will get that done and keep reading. I'm reading for Australia September, which is books set in or by Australian authors. And I'm reading a book for Scottember, which is another bulky nonfiction for books written or written by Scots. That was not Scottish. I don't know what that was. But that's weird that the Australian came out better than the Scottish when I've spent oodles more time in Scotland. And then Suffer-a-thon. I'm definitely reading my hour a week. I think I may have missed like the last prompt, so I'll go check that. Those are my 3 readathons. So, keeping up, keeping happy. And I hope you guys are too, enjoying your booktube time, enjoying your reading, and taking care of yourselves. Oh, right. It's September 15th on Friday. So Shannon is reminding us that means a self-publishing tips and tricks episode is out on Friday. Ooh, this one's with Inka York. Excellent. So that will be at 12 p.m. Central Time, which is 10 a.m. for me on Friday. I think I can definitely make that. It's awesome. And Inka York will be talking about subscriptions for authors, especially with Ream, which is a new platform, kind of like Kindavella meets Patreon, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Is that what it sounded like? Is it Irish? Oh, yeah. So the next buddy read I'm finishing, I'm actually going to be talking to Lisa in Bookland, who is Irish, and she has a Cork accent, I think. So Rachel needs to finish that book. Rachel, if you're watching this, finish that book. Babel. I finished Babel. I have reviewed it, and I'm like waiting to have this discussion. And in the meantime, I saw that Lisa in Ireland had also just finished it and loved it. So I said, hey, you want to come over and be part of our discussion, because we're all read it at the same time. So maybe her accent has crept into I need to go back to Scotland, obviously. But yes, all these exciting things happening, and what can you do? This stuff just comes out. So thank you so much for joining, and let us know what you're up to in the comments. Let me know if you know any Italian writers that I could read in translation that you would recommend. That's the only thing I remember I was asking the audience for. I will put that in the comments. But thanks, everybody. Talk to you again soon, and take care.